Sort of looked at it, saw that, and my stomach turned, and I just closed it.
Sounds a bit ominous, doesn't it? Can't get it in when people are watching.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, hope you're doing well. Today, I thought I'd give you a little update on my lovely cheap little 911 that I got from BCA auctions. Don't know what I'm doing. It's had 12 owners. How bad could it be? Some of you may have seen that video before, but if you haven't, it's worth checking out. I bought this 996.1 for just £7,000 at auction. But it did have a few issues. It needed some body work. It had a very weird noise. I thought it might have had no oil, and the coolant looked a bit low. Minor stuff, really. We've made quite a lot of progress on this car, so I thought I'd take you outside and have a look at it, show you how far we've come, and then we're going to find out just how far we've got left to go. Let's go and check it out. Right, so here it is, looking absolutely gorgeous as usual. First things that are going to jump out to you, we've changed the number plates. Nothing particularly special about that. We've given it a quick clean. We've removed the, at least I thought, awful tints, and 100% I think it looks 10 times better. A lot of people said keep the tints, but wasn't going to hear that. I wanted it back to original. And with back to original in mind, it did have those 997, the newer generation of Porsche after this one, 911 I should say, with the lobster claw wheels, which were 19-inch. And to be fair, they did look quite good, but they just weren't right. And what I've always wanted is a 996 with turbo twist alloy wheels, which is what we've got now. So we've got original 18-inch turbo twist alloy wheels on here, and I've had them refurbished. They cost me about £1,100, and then I spent £300 or £400 on getting them powder coated, but well worth it. I think the car looks absolutely gorgeous now. You'll hopefully remember that there was a decent scuff down the side of the car here. The door handle, there was a dent in this rear quarter, and it kind of went through the arch here. James at J Repairs has done an absolutely incredible job of painting that. Usually when you sort of blend into arches and doors, especially on a bit of an odd colour like this arena red, that would be fairly obvious, but honestly, it looks original to me, so it's absolutely amazing. As far as aesthetics go, that's everything we've done. We've got new wheels, new paint, new plates, and the tints have come off. Dan got in here, and I just think it looks so much nicer with the clear glass. We've done a little bit of mechanical stuff too. So the guys checked all the levels and oil was good. I just made a complete boo-boo of trying to test the oil. You can just do it on the screen. I just didn't know how to do it. I still don't know how to do it. I'll be completely honest, but I've let someone else do it and they said it's okay. We did seem to be a bit low on coolant though, which is weird. And to be fair, they did say that in the report. And we're hopefully going to find out why that is a bit later on. I do have some theories, but we will see. The main issue that we had when we first collected this from BCA Bristol was a very noisy power steering pump, or power steering system. I thought it could have been the pump that's on the back of the block, or at least I think that's where it is, but it turns out we need a new steering rack. So we've put one of those in, a reconditioned unit for about 220 quid off of eBay, which seems like an absolute bargain. So theoretically, that's all pretty good, but there are a couple of little issues that I want to get some peace of mind on, really. One, the engine does sound a bit tappy when it's idling. Higher revs, it's not so bad, but lower revs, there's definitely something going on there, and I can't tell if it's just characteristic of a 996 or it's ready to implode. On top of that, it's using an astronomical amount of coolant, but it doesn't seem to be coming out of the engine. I pour 2 litres in, it just wants to keep swallowing more, but it's not pouring out of the engine. Now, what I think it could be, from doing some Google researching, which is always a bad idea, is that it could be the expansion tank. Apparently the caps sometimes leak, they don't pressurize, or you get a split in the tank and therefore it just evaporates off all the coolant as you're driving along, so you wouldn't so much notice it. And we recently lost a bit of wheel arch as we were driving along somewhere. It started making a weird noise and it just kind of fell off. So we're going to take this up to Bristol, to Porsche to the specialists, and we're going to get their report on whether they think I've bought an absolutely bargain 911 or I've bought a very expensive headache. Fingers crossed, let's go and find out. So I've come down to Porsche Mode in Bristol. We got Ben, who is going to have a look over our Porsche for us. Although Ben, is it Porsche or Porsche?
I say Porsche.
Do you?
I'm sure that will upset.
Controversial.
Yeah.
I was expecting you to say Porsche, and I'm like, okay, well, I feel reassured.
I know
you can work
Porsche
it out.
mode rolls off the tongue a bit easier.
Yeah, it does. I was expecting you to say no, it's Porsche mode, and I was saying I think you should rethink it. Porsche mode sounds better. Ben is going to check over this Porsche for us and see if there's anything I really should worry about. There is a couple of things that.
Yep, you did mention.
Yeah.
Coolant leak and a bit
Coolant, it seems to like it a little bit. It needs a little bit every now and then, but I'm hoping, we're just discussing people who like Google things and come up with it's like going to the doctor, isn't it? And you've already diagnosed yourself. But I'm hoping it's the expansion tank. Maybe it's got a crack in it. I'm told if it's yellow, you should replace it. It's very yellow.
Yeah, wise words.
Yeah.
Common fault.
It ticks a little bit. I'm told that could be kind of just what 996s do when it's warmed up and it's ticking away. But then I also thought maybe it could be like exhaust gaskets or something.
Yeah, we'll give it a little listen. I did hear something as I was pulling it in, but it wasn't sending alarm bells ringing, so...
We'll get it in the air, we'll check it over and see what horrors, hopefully not, are on this thing. I should say we did do a road trip, did about 450 miles in this last week. So hopefully we didn't find anything too drastic. Maybe you want some brakes? I felt like it was juddering, but that could have been a result of that.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, looking at these, they do look pretty good. They're not lipped and there's loads of meat on the pads, so I would suspect they've been changed quite recently.
It actually drives, surprisingly, like really, really well. So I'm hoping there's not too much suspension-wise and anything like that.
Yeah, the way you were describing it did make it sound like a bit rougher than it was, but from what I'm seeing, it does look pretty good. Bump stop slightly split there, but nothing really to worry about. At the end of the world, the springs have been replaced at some point as well, which is nice. They're not genuine springs, but at this age, you would expect.
Yeah. How can you tell that?
Because of the mark, there's usually painted markings on them.
Yeah.
Kind of tells you what the spring rate is and everything.
Okay.
And I can't see them on there.
No, fair enough.
But they have been replaced, which is good.
So we've got like a crack in our plastic in there. Is that fairly common? Just get something shoot in there.
It's not, no, but where it is on the car,
Someone's gone over a speed bump or something, haven't they?
it's quite easy to catch, I should imagine. Yeah. So the common ones on these are the AC condensers.
Okay.
But they look like they've been replaced. They're wet from where you've been driving, but there's no leaks on there.
Oh, okay, so that's your little UV.
Yeah. Ordinarily, most AC machines inject dye.
Yeah.
Just see where it's leaking
Yeah, I know
from.
ours does. We've got a UV torch, but it's not as cool as that.
Well, your normal ones, because they're so far back,
you probably don't need it on anything other than a 911 or something. Yeah.
No, they look all really good. And it has had a refurbished steering rack in it by the looks of it.
Oh yeah, we've just put that in. I probably should have said.
Have you?
So when I picked it up, it was like whack, making horrible noises.
Yep.
So we put a new one in.
Because at this age, the lines start going.
Yeah.
They're like on the other side where they go in, they start corroding, and it's a bit of a pain, as you know.
Yeah.
The rack, but
it was. And what was surprising is we managed to get a reconditioned with a guarantee rack for about 250 quid or something. And you would think, for a Porsche, it would be ridiculous.
That is really good price, actually.
Yeah.
Sounds a bit ominous, doesn't it?
Do you know what? I did notice there was a bit of a creak, maybe like on full lock. So.
Yeah, it could have been coming from the back end, I guess. We'll get it up and check that one out, but usually these don't make any noise at all.
All right. Which think it's likely to be some kind of suspension bushing or.
Yeah, it sounds like the upper arms.
Okay.
And they are the original ones, so could well be. Just needs a set of upper arms. Did I see it with lobster claws on?
It had different ones on, but I like the turbo twists. It had the like multi-spoke Carrera ones from factory. Because funny enough, we found like since I bought it, the power of social media. Some of the previous owners have sent me their pictures of it when they had it. They had it for X amount of years. And in fact, I bought this at auction, and the guy who was the underbidder was the previous owner trying to get it back.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, gutted for him.
Yeah.
Crikey. It must be half about one if he wants to buy it back.
Yeah, exactly. That was what I was hoping anyway.
Yeah. Braided brake lines, pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
Stainless steel lines.
I think someone's loved it for sure. For it to be 24 years old, I've been impressed by it.
Looking pretty good so far. I mean, a slight bit of corrosion here and there, but what 20-plus-year-old car doesn't?
Yeah.
Polybushed anti-roll bars.
Okay.
Cool as well. I think these are Design Tech exhausts.
I was going to say, do you think they're aftermarket ones?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I swear, like, when I was talking to Lauren about you and whatever, she made you out like you were like 7'8" and gangly and whatever. But
I'll have a word with her about that. So weirdly enough, you've got a poly bush in this arm.
Okay.
And this is just obviously been replaced at some point, and they've not poly bushed it.
Oh, okay.
So don't know what you wanted to do there. Don't know if you wanted to stick a poly bush in that side, which you can do.
Yeah.
I don't really rate them. Or you can put another arm on to kind of match them up a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not dangerous.
No.
It's going to drive totally fine, but you can...
It's better to have it matching. Do you think that is the same thing that might have been causing the noise we were just hearing?
Yeah, I'm thinking it is. Also on this side here, you've got the level sensor arm here snapped.
Oh, okay.
So it's off floating up here, quite standard.
Oh, yeah. So that is to do with the headlights on this?
It is, yeah. But that's a pretty common one. The little ball joint here seizes up. You hit a big speed bump and it just breaks the end off.
Yeah. No, it's worth knowing for sure. It would be nice to make sure it is all up together.
Albeit done in copper, it's nice to see that the brake lines have been replaced as well.
Yeah. No doubt an MOT failure at some point in its past.
Yeah. So I'm thinking a lot of the squeaking you're getting is the upper dog bone arms as well, which are these two arms here. They've both got really old power flex bushings in as well.
Okay.
That's probably likely where the squeak's coming from.
Yeah.
They're just old.
Yeah.
Likely just need refreshing.
Would you just recommend replacing that for a standard?
There's no real reason to upgrade them. A lot of people do track days on the standard arm and they never have an issue.
No. People just like to spend money on
I think you'll
Gucci
be
bits.
totally fine with a set of standard arms.
Okay, cool. But replace both sides, I take it?
Yeah, I'd recommend it.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, well, the parts bill is slowly racking up, but that's not too bad. This is the bit that I'm least worried about, to be honest, is the suspension, the wheels, the condition of it. It's the engine, the expensive bit that I'm worried about.
We'll get into it. We'll see what's going on.
It's just stringing it out to build tension. I mean, I don't know, you tell me otherwise, but I don't think there's any obvious signs of it leaking coolant anywhere. But I must have put 2 litres in before we came here.
Yeah, ordinarily when they are leaking from it, you kind of see like a pink mist all over this side.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just the cap, but even the overflow comes down here and kind of sprays it around. So that's what I'm kind of looking for now, some sort of
obvious sign.
Do you
think it would evaporate off quite a lot if... I heard the caps can be a bit knackered, but what was surprising to me is like, it's flashing for the coolant again, and you've obviously got that little pressure relief valve, haven't you?
Yeah.
I assume that's what it was. Being a plumber, I just assumed that was what it was. But under no point was that under pressure. So obviously there's a leak somewhere, but it's not showing, you pour 2 litres and you expect it to start coming out on the floor that quickly.
Yeah, by now I would have expected to see some sort of pink remnant somewhere. Even if it's dried off, it'll leave, it'll leave some sign of...
So it's either evaporated off or gone into the engine.
I mean, this is likely the leak here.
Ah, okay.
So it's not spread around, it's obviously hitting the road before you get a chance to see it anywhere.
And also it's not coming out directly underneath the engine, which is where I would have expected it to come.
Yeah, which is a nicer job.
That's reassuring, yes.
Than doing
something in the engine.
The reservoir. The reservoir was not particularly hard, but you do have to drop the engine down a little bit to kind of wriggle it out.
I did look at that when I was just topping it up a minute ago, and I was thinking, it's quite tucked in under the rear arch, isn't it?
Yeah, you can get them out, you've just got to drop the engine down a little bit and wiggle it out.
I love that. This must be such a Porsche thing. Yeah, you've just got to drop the engine out a little bit just to change a reservoir. It's not like the Clios where I used to do it and I'd take a jet wash them out and stuff and just chuck them back in.
Yeah, there's a few jobs like that on the Porsches. Could be, looks a bit wet around here as well though, so...
Okay.
We'll check that out. Might drop the under tray off and have a little look.
What have we got up here? Do we have like coolant radiators?
So the radiators are just here, behind the AC condensers.
Yeah.
They're on both sides.
Yeah.
Because yours is an automatic, you've also got one in the centre here as well.
Okay.
If it was a manual car, you wouldn't have
so
that.
So that's just like is that a transmission cooler?
Yeah.
Is it oil or coolant?
It's coolant.
It's coolant. Okay.
Yeah. I think this might just be where your guys have done the steering rack and they've brake cleaned it off.
Ah, right. Yeah.
I don't think it actually looks that wet. I'll have to get you a new bracket as well for your power steering lines.
Okay. They're just flopping about.
They're just flopping about up there.
Okay. He's like lulling me into a false sense of confidence.
It's looking good, honestly. It's looking good so far.
Yeah, so far, Ben. Yeah, so
What's
far.
the mileage on it? I didn't look when it came in.
103.
Not bad, really.
No, not for
his age.
No, you could easily expect it to be on 200 plus, couldn't you? At 24 years old.
And I think these radiator support brackets,
They're looking a little crispy, aren't they?
Likely need replacing. Yeah. I've not quite ever seen them with a hole in before.
Fair enough. Expensive item?
I don't know. I've never replaced them.
Oh.
It's not too big of a job. Bumper off. You can leave all the radiator connected with the hoses. You just kind of slide the new bracket in. And of course, we can get you a new arch liner as well if you like.
Oh, that's the bit that came off. See, if we'd had that left on there, you wouldn't have seen how rusty it was. Would have saved myself some money. Pink, obvious signs, but that's, I mean, the leak's right there, isn't it? So it's just coming under there and cooking off on that.
This looks old. I did see this.
Yeah.
I did see that, but I don't think that's a new leak. I think that's probably where something's leaked previously.
Okay.
But so far, that's all I can see. But we can chuck we can pressurise the system.
Yeah.
And see if it springs a leak anywhere else.
Where's your bin? I feel rude just chucking rust on the floor now. So, early predictions. You heard some kind of like ticking noise. It seems to be more when it's warm and idling. If you're up above like 1500, 2000 RPM, no noise. Buttery smooth. What would your guesses be? You don't want to guess?
I don't want to guess. No,
okay.
I don't want to guess.
No.
You know, because if you're guessing the worst here, it's not going to be a.
Not going to be.
It's not going to be a nice
a good time.
No.
Yeah, we're not going to be friends anymore. So they tend to be like say, obviously you look online, people are like, yeah, some of them just tend to have that a bit of a.
They can. I found them. I'm sure someone would disagree with me. I have found them to be a little bit ticky, but not excessive. Things wear out. It doesn't mean it's necessarily broken.
The whole thing's gone. Yeah.
But things just get old and they wear out and they get a bit loud. It's definitely in the engine. It's not an exhaust leak or ancillary or anything like that. And I'm not sure how well the camera picks it up. On idle, it's not that loud.
No.
I think it is passable, but when you bring the revs up a little bit, it does become, I think, excessively loud. Where I'm listening, it does sound more in the cylinder head than it does bottom end. But it's up to you. If you wanted a full inspection anyway, we could scope the bores. And if they're in good shape, I'd probably hedge my bets that it's something in the cylinder head on this right bank.
Right.
The left side's like totally silent.
Oh, okay. So that's less terrifying if it's in the head?
If it is in the head, it is. There's hundreds of moving components in a head. They're all in a state of wearing out. If we work it out to be the cylinder head, once you open it up, I'm sure it'll be pretty obvious where that noise is coming from.
Fair enough. Well, if you've got the time, then let's show the people how a bore scope works. I've never seen it. I obviously understand down the spark plug hole. Is that right?
That's pretty much it. Spin the engine till you see the full cylinder and wang a camera in there.
I don't think we can honey dick the viewers into not seeing what's going on.
We're just fishing it down the bores and just working out if this one is at the bottom, because that's where most of the scoring is. Can't get it in when people are watching.
Said that before.
Yeah. The running in marks can look really dark, and it doesn't always mean that it's bore score. Top of the piston.
Yeah.
And all these lines here.
Yeah.
Are if I spin it around, it can look really dark and be something and nothing. Some of these really dark lines I do think have gone through. A lot of these finer ones you're just naturally going to get anyway.
Yeah.
You're firing a piston up and down a bore thousands of times. It's going to happen. But some of these thick darker lines I think could be something.
Very diplomatically breaking bad news to me there.
Sometimes it's nothing. That's not to say this isn't. Depending on what you want to do, we can just send one half of the casting off to have a one liner. You want to do 3 liners? Do you want to do all 6?
Yeah. I'm just trying to get my head around trying to remember my basic mechanics, but obviously it's not the block, is it, that needs to be.
So the block is the liner's inside the block.
Oh, it is. Okay, I'm just trying to think. I was thinking you took the head off. I'm thinking of like other box arrangements I've worked on, like my motorbike, where you take the cylinder off with the head. So
what I'm looking at when I'm running the camera down, this is what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
The sleeve here. Yeah. So all those lines we're seeing running up and down these sleeves.
Got you.
So I still think the noise could be the cylinder head, but whether you're fixing this or you're fixing this, you're splitting it regardless. And you can do some further investigation.
Yeah.
But that noise, I would say, is excessive.
Yeah.
And warrants some disassembly to check it out a bit further. Yeah, sorry about that.
This is what we're here to find out.
Not the news you were hoping for.
Oh, well.
Makes a good video though. My Porsche blew up.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
I'm going to pressurise the system just for peace of mind and just have a little look around.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we found the coolant leak as well.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
those were like your two big concerns.
Sweet.
At least the coolant was an easy fix.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, least of our worries.
there's a hole in this aluminium pipe, but it's not the rubber. You would have been dropping all this down anyway.
So we're looking at a fairly hefty bill then.
You know, you're buying all new bolts, you're buying gaskets, you might want to like renew a brake line whilst you're in there. So people do often come away with, even if it's just one liner, like a £10,000 bill,
Sheesh.
maybe more,
Yeah.
because you may not just do one thing, you may end up renewing a few bits that you find along the way.
More than we spent on the car. That's why we bought it cheap, I imagine. That's why it was at the auction. As everyone will tell us in the comments.
You know, you did get it cheap, and there is maybe not all the headroom you need to make it right in budget, but it softens,
Yeah, at least I
softens
didn't
a
pay
blow.
full whack for it.
Yeah.
I looked online at kits, and just like the kit for all the bits and pieces was like 10 grand on Design 911.
So what was like in the kit? What did it consist
I
of?
honestly don't remember. I sort of looked at it, saw that, and my stomach turned, and I just closed it.
What are you thinking?
No, I was just thinking, wondering what it would be in the head that was making the noise or whatever. And I think it's a shame, isn't it? Because the whole thing was like, you're looking at doubling the expense on this vehicle when it runs and drives and whatever, and you think, it is a nice example, isn't it, I suppose? But is it the right one to then spend all that money on?
What are you thinking? Maybe not pursuing, getting all the engine sorted out and...
Well, I don't know. Then what do you do with it? Just send it back to auction or something. But yeah. I don't really want to. I want to get it fixed. I want to sort it.
Somebody along the way pays the bill.
Yeah.
Somewhere along. Just pass the parcel and see who catches it.
It is what it is, isn't it? I have to do it one way or another.
It's a selling point for sure. I think it does demand, you know, they do get a bit more money when they've been rebuilt.
Probably not the news I was hoping to hear, but just as well that we know. A few minor little things, and other than that, it was fine, basically.
Yeah, it's probably one of the best examples I've ever seen.
I knew he was going to say that. We think we probably need to rebuild the engine, probably.
Yeah, one or more liners going to need replacing for the Classic.
People in the comments are going to be loving this because they'll have been saying that'll have bore score, and it has lived up to the kind of expectations everyone has of these. So, yeah, there is some scoring in some of the bores. The tapping noise, which I was hoping could have been an exhaust gasket or something, is probably something in one of the heads.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would say the bore scoring, you know, might be contribute to that tapper noise.
Okay.
It does have scoring, but I think that tapper noise is likely in the cylinder head. But we'll find out when we get
strip it out. Yeah. Minor other bits and pieces. We found the horrendous coolant leak as well, which is why it was an aluminium pipe.
Yeah.
We thought originally we might have got lucky and it was just a hose, but it isn't. It's got a pinhole in one of the aluminium pipes, and other miscellaneous bits. What else do we say? We think it wants like an arch liner.
Yeah, probably a set of arms on the rear.
That was it.
Lower arms, upper dog bone arms. They've all been polybushed. I think it's getting a bit old now, and creaking.
Yeah. So the bill's getting quite expensive, but I think it's worth saving. I love this car so much. I actually had merchandise made, so you can now buy stickers and T-shirts, which I'll need you to buy in order to help me fund repairing this. I think. I have no idea how much it's going to cost me at this stage. We're going to speak with Ben. We're going to find out and see what needs to be done. But thanks so much for checking it out for me.
Thank you.
Giving me the wonderful news. But at least we know where we stand now. So, yeah, stay tuned. There will be more updates on this video. Stay tuned. There'll be more updates on this car coming to the channel, hopefully soon. Right, so there we have it. I'm surprised and not surprised at the same time, really. It's a real shame that this does have a few issues, but bizarrely, I quite enjoyed being told how bad my car was. Ben kind of explained everything. It means it's going to be in my life for a little bit longer for sure, and we're going to get it fixed up, and we might get some good content out of fixing it up. Maybe we can get Ben to do some videos on rebuilding the engine and all that sort of stuff. And a lot of the stuff wasn't that bad. And in fact, we at least know that the car is a good one and it's well worth saving. And we got it cheap in the first place, so are we really losing out? I don't know. That tapping noise had been sort of bugging me. I thought, you read on the forums, a lot of people say that's kind of normal, but it would be nice to have this fully rebuilt and a real little minter. So if me buying risky cars at auction and facing probably the best part of a £10,000 bill doesn't warrant a subscription, I don't know what does. It's completely free to do and it'll massively help me out. Don't forget to like the video as well. Doesn't mean that you're enjoying that I'm in pain, but it also could mean that. Whatever you want, it would just help me out. So that is it for this time. This is definitely the last you'll be seeing of this car. And don't forget, there is the merchandise as well, which will, you know, help me out when it comes to paying the bill that I've yet to see for this. Ben's going to go away and collate all the parts I need, all the time it's going to take, and yeah, get that whole engine rebuilt and probably one bank of cylinders re-sleeved, new pistons, new whatever, sort out whatever the noise is that's tapping in the head. This is a shame because look, she drives perfect, but we want to get it done right. So that is it for this time. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.